recording. We are now recording. All right, so equity simulators. These are the best things to train your eyes, or not your eyes, to train your mind to understand probabilities. So I was looking at some data of some of our members, and I think VNM or VMN, you're in there too, right? Didn't you had like a 35% win rate, if I'm not mistaken? So we're just going to take your data now. I think you sent it in data reviews too, right? Didn't you? I'm not sure. I know. Oh yeah, I'm literally looking at it right now. I'm an idiot. I was going to go over that too, but yeah, 35% win rate. So before we even go over that, 34 missed losses in after replay. Well, thing is, I'm assuming you're also missing out on a couple of winners, right? So I would still say 35 because I miss out on a few losses. I miss out on a few wins too. So we're going to take that 35% win rate and we're going to look at what that would look like on the charts. Now, when do you guys think an edge plays out on average with around a 35% win rate? So how many trades do you guys think it will need to play out, to have that edge play out in the long run, or not in the long run, to have that edge start playing out basically? What do you guys think? How many trades do we need to see if our edge is actually... All right, you're saying sell 100. That's a little steep. 50, 100. Well, it lies around 30 to 40. That's the actual answer. So usually around 30 to 40 trades is what you need to kind of see, or basically to see the edge starting to play out. So you can kind of tell around 40 trades is kind of the benchmark. This is where it'll basically tell you, all right, it's working or it's not working. So in most scenarios, you'll see around 40 trades that if you're profitable, I mean, you're going to see it with around 40 trades. But basically, the more trades you have, so let's do 100, the easier it is to see. Now, if you do 1,000, you'll see that, you know, this is a beautiful equity curve. The reason I'm saying this is a lot of traders, they panic after 10 trades, you know, 10, 20 trades, they'll start panicking. But if we go and simulate that a couple of times, we're going to count it too. Oh, fuck, the website's glitching out again. We're going to count that too. This is our first simulation. So I kind of want to count and see how many simulations we come out profitable versus how many were going to end up taking losses. Fuck, I don't know how to... I'll just count it in chat. So the first simulation, we end up with a... Let's say that's around a 1.8 R. The second one is around 6 R. The third one is -5. Is that -6 R? And the fifth one is around +10 R. What I'm trying to tell you guys, and what I'm trying to make you guys realize with this, is that even though you take 10 trades in a row, it could either look like +10 R or it could be -6 R, but you're still doing the right thing. That's the thing that's most important about trading. That's what a lot of traders don't understand. Either one of these scenarios here that I just wrote down here, either the -6 R or the +10 R, they're both perfectly fine. This is exactly right. You're supposed to be doing this, even if you end up with -6 R. Flaws is saying just experience that low number of trades probably still within. Yeah. Anyways, but this is what I mean, and this is so crucial to understand, and this is the turning point in most traders in here, and this is the probably the most valuable thing that we teach, is understanding probabilities and understanding that sample size is what it's all about. So we did a couple of simulations and we figured out that even though we did exactly what we were supposed to do with a 35% win rate with a 1 to 3 R, we still ended up getting down to -6 R within 10 trades. So tie that into passing prop firm challenges. That means that in some of these cases, you would have blown your account, but in others, you would have passed it. So that being said, every time you take a challenge and you lose the challenge, do not immediately go back to the drawing board and start switching things up or start doubting yourself. Let me just turn off Steam for a second. Do not start doubting yourself. Instead, keep going because you know the next month might be plus 10R. And we saw this in January too. January was a relatively slow month for most of us, but now February has already been a way better month for the majority of us. So if you did a challenge in January, you blew it. And then if you did one in February, you might have passed it. So that's just something that I think is so crucial to understand for the majority of traders. And I think that's one thing that I don't know if I'm not 100% certain, but I think we're literally the only people out there telling you guys, hey, pay attention to probabilities, pay attention to sample size, and let it play out. Do not switch things up. The whole idea of technical analysis is not to nail it, not to be able to decipher the whole markets. So what a lot of people do too is they'll look for a reason behind every single move. They'll be like, this one has too much liquidity. This one doesn't have a strong breaker structure. This one has whatever the fuck. But then if they take a win, they're not doing that. If they take a win, they're like, all right, good win. But they're not saying, well, this win has a small breaker structure. This win has a lot of liquidity. So it's only when you're losing trades is when you're basically looking for reasons to avoid that loss. Meanwhile, the whole goal is basically to just let a simple edge play out and not let those reasons basically distract you from what you should be focusing on. Alice says it's like the film Jerry and Marge Go. I don't know what that is. View sample size is closer to true probabilities. Exactly. Well, so the thing is too, right? If you have a 50-50 coin flip, there's a really small chance within 10 coin flips that you're actually going to get 5 heads and 5 tails. But if you do that 100 times, you're going to get closer to that 50-50 number. If you do that 1,000 times, you're going to get way closer to that 50-50 number. And, oh, you're talking about the Walter White movie about where they buy a couple of thousand lottery tickets. Yeah, I know what you mean. But essentially, probabilities only play out if you're letting them play out with a large sample size. And that's why if we take 1,000 trades, every one of these simulations is going to turn out profitable. Like I was saying, same with the coin flip. You do a 50-50 coin flip 10 times, there's a small chance you're actually going to get 5 heads, 5 tails. You do it 10,000 times, you're going to get really close to that 50-50 number. So that's what I wanted to say. Enough about that. We're going to get started with, or we're going to continue our virtually play data. Isn't the curve even better? Now you're calculating with 35 wins and 65 losses out of 100, for example, but in reality, it's 35 wins, 20 B, and 45 losses. Yes, but seeing as the win rate is not included in this simulation, or excuse me, the break even is not included in this simulation, it doesn't really count. A break even essentially just doesn't exist in this simulation. And seeing as a break even won't make you any money, nor will it lose you money, this equity curve is still valid, basically. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. That's a shorter way to phrase it, basically. All right, we're going to continue where we left off this week. And let's see, did they change it again, the layout? Or let's see where we left off. All right, so we left off at Euro JPY. What do you guys think we should do today? Which pair do you guys think we should test today in 2015? Euro USD. All right, Ellis is saying Euro USD. What do you guys think? ADC Chef. So it's between Euro USD and ADC Chef. What do you guys think? All right, we'll do EU. All right, it's 3 versus 1 now. You guys want to do EU then? Maybe if we have if we got time, we could do shit, what's it called? ADCGF2. New session. We're gonna name that Euro USD. I cannot remember if we did 10K or 100K. We did 10K advanced. All right. Euro USD. Are you in any trades at the moment? I am. I'm in a couple of trades. I'll show you in a second. I'm in AU right now, which is I think is close to break even too. It's a long trade on EU. AU, excuse me. You guys know which one I'm talking about? Let's see if you guys can find the one I'm talking about. If you guys could send it in chat. The one that I'm in right now. I'm gonna wait to see if you guys are able to spot the trade that I'm talking about. What do I feel like there's... The chart is smaller than usual, I feel like. Might be just me. There you go. That's the one, Ellis. That's it. I feel like this chart is a little smaller than usual. I might be wrong, but... It's odd. Anyways, not important. You can't full screen it on this one. Gotcha. Oh, maybe I'll put the chat on my other screen then, and I'll go full screen on here. That's better, I think. I'm looking to short the yeah. We'll talk about the current setups in this. Oh shit! I just smacked the shit out of my mic. We'll talk about the current setups in just a second. But for right now, let's get started. So right off the bat, we see a short continuation setup. I've been thinking about this too, but literally these sessions, they're not only like beneficial to you guys, but they're great for me as well because they kind of keep me going in terms of testing. Like testing sometimes can get quite boring and quite exhausting, and doing it together also keeps me grounded. Like I'm more motivated to do these sessions with you guys, basically. See if there's an imbalance there. We don't have our body closure yet, so we're not taking that. We do have one now. So now we're going to take that. Who's going to carry the boats? See if that pulls back first, maybe. Auto break even. Oh shit. That was quick. Let me send that in my server. For those of you who haven't joined yet, make sure to join my backtesting server, in which I'm literally posting every single trade that we're taking on. So that's +3. We're literally posting all the trades that we've taken during the backtesting session. So I think it's incredibly valuable, especially for those of you who are a little bit newer to this strategy. All right, let's continue. It's taken a whole year to play out, basically, but All right. All right, so at this point, I would have deleted it. If it got that close to your our entry and it basically missed it by just an inch, that's when I would have deleted it for sure. Oh fuck. Another tip that I'd like to give you guys too is if you're testing your strategy, if you're going to test your strategy, take a quick look at your previous session. So what I mean by that, instead of just hopping into the charts right away, go over your server real quick or your data sheet and just take a look at the way you've been testing before. Because what I'll see some traders do is they'll test basically really zoomed in, but then the next session they're really zoomed out. So instead of just hopping right into it, just take a quick glance at your previous testing, just to kind of remind yourself like this is the way I'm looking at the charts, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Anyways, just a quick little tip. It's not going to be a huge difference, but just to make it a little easier for yourself and to kind of train your mind to stick to the same thing, if that makes sense. It's a break even. Let me get the right audio for that. Back in March or April of last year, we were going insane with that soundboard every single time. If you go and look at the sessions from April last year, which is when we first started. Oh shit, looked like we missed a setup there. We were going insane with those soundboards. That would have been a decent trade, to be honest, but that's all right. I think a couple of you guys were there last year too, when we first started. I know majority of you weren't, but there's some guys, I think like Esteban and Thomas, you've been around for quite some time now. And I love to see that it's paying off too. Like I really love seeing that a lot of guys that come in here eventually just don't show up because they've either like kind of made it, so to say, like they're getting funded. I know you passed your account too, right, Esteban? Your 20K account? Phase one, yeah. Good job. Is that a body closure? That is a body closure. I think my main problem with testing is I go too fast and end up missing trades. Well, that's the thing that I'm trying to mention too. Is like, I don't know if Leo's in here. He's a new member of ours, but a lot of members, for example, like Leo today, wanted to test 10 years in one day, which is literally like that's impossible because you only have a limited amount of energy and focus, basically. So I personally would not be able to do that, for example. So a good fix for that is maybe just to try and, get used to only trading or only testing one or two sessions at a time, doing one or two pairs. And try not to rush it, take your time. Even if you can't finish it, instead of like Ellis is saying right now, I'll do one session before the gym, then one in the evening. So if you notice that you're going too fast, maybe to split it in two, do half a session before the gym and half a session in the evening. Because you want to make sure that your data is correct. You want to make sure that it's not rushed or not. Wouldn't you cancel that trade since it got really close to entering them to break even? Yeah, I was literally thinking about that. So it's kind of debatable. It got relatively close to entry, but yeah. But that's the thing about human error margin too, which I like to calculate in, is we're still people at the end of the day. We'll make mistakes. So I like to leave those in too, because I don't really like the whole idea of being like, well, in the live markets, I would have done this or that. I'm not a huge fan of that mentality, basically. This is a valid trade too, if you get what I mean. I know a lot of traders that'll test and they'll be like, I wouldn't have done that in the live markets. But I mean, you would have, because the whole point of I'm not able to kind of market into that. But you would have, because essentially FX replay is sort of the live markets. Shit, I keep smacking my mic. Fuck, let me just switch it. Because even in the live markets, you make mistakes. In fact, you'll make more in the live markets than on backtesting. So, there's that. You got to get one of those mics that hangs down from the ceiling. From the ceiling? What the fuck are you talking about? All right, what do you guys think about this setup? Quick little quiz. Like the rappers. No imbalance is what Storm's saying. All right, but valid. You like imbalance about entry. All right, now I'm gonna be the annoying bitchy coach. Do you like it, or is it based on data? Is that the reason that you're taking imbalances around entry? I feel like I'm being a little Karen sometimes, but I would take it because it follows my rules, mom. All right, so because it's based on data, not on feelings, not because you like it. I know it's such an annoying thing, but I do really want to make sure that we get that straight. Storm says there's no imbalance, and I get what he means. He's probably also looking for imbalance near the entry line. We're looking at imbalance in the entire leg. So I'm not sure if I have enough data to say it's based on data, but I have had like 30, 40 trades with negative R result. All right, so the thing is with stuff like that and opinions in general is that, in my opinion, everything in trading has to be based on data, because that's essentially the only lead we've got when it comes to taking trades. The thing is, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot more trades when I've got my chat on my other monitor, because I keep looking like down to my other screen. I just feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of trades. Maybe read it after every trade. Yeah, I'll do that. This is also one of those cases, Thomas or Esteban. I think Thomas asked it, like, you could delete your trade because it got really close to entry and then hit your break-even level, basically. Thing is, Alice, like, I'll see the notification saying people are typing in chat, and then I'm like waiting patiently for people to finish typing. So I'm like constantly looking at it, waiting for people to finish typing. But yeah. Right, that would have been a valid trade if we had an imbalance, which we don't. Apple Vision Pro. How do I turn off this sound again? Because I see there's some people joining and leaving constantly. Let me quickly turn off the sound real quick. Voice and video. Notifications. Here we go. Well, you were taking that last trade. Well, you did have a breaker structure, but it depends on how aggressive you want to look at it, basically. But to me, I was looking at that, but I do understand what you mean. You were talking about that high right there, which is valid. Keep in mind that I'm very aggressive with my trades, unlike John and Andre, for example. I like to be a lot more aggressive with my entries, basically. I'm a little tired today, so do forgive me for that. I was home late last night, very late. I was at my girlfriend's until like 2 a.m. probably. I think we all are. All right, what's up with this setup? What do you guys think? There you go. +3. I think we deleted a couple of sounds too. We had a lot of ICT sounds back in the day. Okay, we still do. Oh, we missed out on a losing trade. That would have been a valid loss. See, that's what I mean. You miss out on a couple of winning trades, but you also miss out on a couple of losing trades every now and then. And it happens in the live markets too. Where's the loss? This one. That long trade right there. That would have been a valid loss to me. Also, I know that like the majority of you guys won't do this, but I do want to mention it. I am coaching someone right now. He's got a really, and not to talk shit about him because he's a great guy, but he's got a really big ego because he used to play professional football. So he kind of took that ego from playing professional football into trading. And that made him basically fake his backtesting results, as in literally replaying every time. Like every time he took a loss, he'll replay it, and he'll be like, "I wouldn't have taken that live." Don't do that because you're only making it a lot harder for yourself to become profitable with that. I'm not sure if I want to call it faking, but it's just not entirely like it's sugarcoating basically. Because it's really easy to say that you wouldn't have done that in the live markets, but it's not how it works. I had a good talk with him about it, so he's going to stop doing that. But that's something that is pretty common in trading. So that's just something that I want to have said basically, so that you guys know that if you're doing that, maybe it's an ego thing. It is basically what Jarvelin is saying. It's self-sabotage. Like the only person who's going to be suffering from that is you basically. And I do get it because it's an ego thing, and you're used to being good at something, and then you tell yourself that you wouldn't have done X, Y, and Z, but that's not the way it works. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm not sure if this is going to be a win or a loss, but we're going to talk about that in a second. All right. Nice. Well, not nice, but nice because I want to explain something to you guys. Let me just first send it in to you. All right. So a lot of people are going to be like, well, fuck, there's imbalance and there's liquidity there. And why would you take that? But to everyone saying that, shut the fuck up. No, I'm just kidding. That's rude. I'm just kidding. To everyone who's saying that, I have plenty of setups like this that play out. The thing is, if you're gonna avoid setups like this, make sure that it's based on data. I've noticed that the whole idea of avoiding liquidity has not been as big of a contributing factor as I thought it was at first. So I'm literally taking setups like this. Now, a lot of traders will be like, well, there's liquidity there and there's imbalance above. So they'll avoid that trade, even though it's not based on any data. And the reason I'm still taking these trades is because I've noticed with over 2,000 trades now, that it's not really a contributing factor. So just something that I wanted to get out of the way. And that's why I was sort of hoping that this would be a losing setup so that I could explain this to you guys. I'm not trying to insult you guys, by the way. I'm just trying to get my point across. Especially because the whole SMC section will say, well, there's liquidity there and there's imbalance there. And then you might be right and you might end up getting your win rate up by 2%. But then because you're basically getting your win rate up by 2%, you're now only taking 10 trades instead of 30 trades. And then at the end of the year, the person who's taking setups like this is still more profitable. That's what I want to say. That's a common thing with SMC, is trying to, get the perfect AAA setup. And then you're only taking one trade instead of 500 trades. And now you have a 100% win rate the entire year instead of a 30% win rate. But now this guy has a 300R and this guy has 10R. You guys get the point, right? Someone tag me in main chat. Let's see. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. I hope you guys do. But that's not to say that, it's bad. If you don't like taking setups like that, then by all means, don't. I'm just saying whatever you do has to be based on data. You've got to know if it's really affecting your strategy. Why did it tap? Oh, that's break even. Break even. There we go. We missed out on another trade that would have been a break even too, I think. Sometimes I'll skip ahead too fast as well. You can type in EU channel. Damn. Well, there goes my data. So apparently, I'm not sure, but maybe I accidentally flashed the Discord link somewhere. But we had a couple of people join that channel, and they were not in the SMA community. And I don't know if someone's shared it, but I never mentioned this, so I won't blame anyone for it or be upset about it. But I will have to ask everyone who's in that channel to not share the invite link. I think I might have done it myself on accident. I make sure to delete or to kick the person who was, or the people who were in there who are not in SMA. But I figured it'd be just something nice to have for the community only, basically. So I just kind of want to ask you guys to refrain from sharing that link so that it becomes like a community only thing, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's unfair to people. The people are paying to watch these sessions, and then having random people join them. So anyways, I think I did it myself. I think I accidentally showed the link on my YouTube video, and I think he literally just copied it. Like he just copied it by typing it over. But yeah, I think it's only fair to keep it for like paid members only. I feel like I already gave away a lot of stuff on YouTube. I want to make sure that people who are paying for coaching and guidance don't get everything they get on YouTube, for example. I mean, there's a lot of people, I don't want to name any names, but there's a lot of people who give away 100% of their value on YouTube and then be left, with basically dog shit as soon as you pay. And I think we all know who we're talking about, but yeah, I just don't feel it's fair. Um, you don't want to have people join a community and then be left with, half of what they got on YouTube. But yeah, -1. Anyways, if you're good at something, don't do it for free. Well, I'm not even really, like, personally, I don't really care too much about money. Well, I'm not sure if that's true. Obviously, I do care about money, but I'm not really looking to make. I don't really need to get rich or anything, and especially not off of YouTube or memberships or anything. I just want to make sure that I'm comfortable enough to travel and have fun with friends and family. Like I don't really care about materialism and stuff. Anyways, break even. Also, if you give it away for free, you'll get trolls and shit. That is one thing, honestly, though. Like the amount of trolls that you get when you're giving away stuff for free can be a little. Sure, what to call it, but it can be a little frustrating. I think simple markets has a sweet spot price, not too much, so no one joins, and not too cheap, so your 1K members say you can't coach. Yeah. Well, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've said this before, but all three of us we're not really making any money off of simple markets because you got to look at it like this: people pay $500 to join, then 30% of that goes to taxes, so we're left with around 350, and then that has to be split into thirds, and then we also pay, for example, advertising costs or FX replay, software. So we're left with like $100 each when people join, and then I also have to pay income tax on that $100 that I make from simple markets. So like none of us are really making any money off of this community. But I do think it's important to, if we do ever decide to increase prices, that we're all right. So I don't think I've mentioned it before. I'm not sure if John is okay with me mentioning it in general, but we have thought about in the future just doing like a private invite only community, in which will only allow people who are really serious and dedicated about trading. Will only allow those in, to avoid having or getting a lot of people who are just looking to get rich quick and looking to copy our trades and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So it is something that we're thinking about for maybe in the future, because I don't know, I just feel like there's so many communities and there's 2,000 people in a community and you've no idea who to ask for opinions or what to do because it's just crowded. So it's something that we're thinking about for implementing into the future, because I also know that Sorry for $1 million. Not what you. Well, sort of. I mean, we'll talk to members before they join sometimes, but we're talking about like an exclusive. Like you'll have to show us why you want to be part of our Discord, and kind of prove to us that you're worthy of being in our community and uh, receiving our coaching and guidance, so to say, just to avoid getting clowns, basically, if that makes sense. It's something that I'm really leaning more towards. I don't really like right now it's perfect because there's only 120 people, but as soon as you get to the point of like having 1,000 members, it's not manageable. There's no way for us to manage that. And I'm sure you guys see that. A lot of you guys came from a different community that was way too large, and it wasn't properly managed. So train more coaches. That is one thing too, which we do want to work towards in the future. But even then, you'll still have a community that is just filled with people spamming trades every single day. And that's just not manageable. And it's not educational for most people either, because you're going to get bombarded with opinions and you don't know what to do anymore. No, that's okay. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you're putting in your trades, but imagine if there's 2,000 people in here and they're all putting their trades in, and someone new joins and he doesn't know what to do now because he's seeing so many different trades. That's the issue. Like if you're still like, if it's not too many people in there, it's totally fine. But as soon as it gets too large, that's when the issues rise, basically. And trade is banned. The thing is, like, I've been coaching for quite some time now, and um, I've worked in some of the largest communities out there, and it's the same thing in every single community. That's the thing that bothers me. The reason why every community eventually just becomes useless is because there's too many people in there. It's not properly managed, and basically it's filled with 1,000 different people doing 1,000 different things, and the newcomers have no idea what to do. Ben says it's fish out. People like to flex a win and stats. Yeah, exactly. So that's the issue, and it's like it's human nature too. Like I understand it, I get it, because it's human nature to want to show something that you're proud of, but that leads to comparison and leads to confusion, and that's just something that we want to avoid. So it's something like we're not 100% sure about how we want to approach that yet, but something that we will work towards in the future is more sort of private, exclusive, invite only stuff to avoid, becoming one of those mass communities. I just don't want to, I wouldn't want to run a business like that, basically. I feel like at that point it becomes more of like a cash grab than actual education, but it might just be my opinion. Break even. A lot of break evens this session. Anyways. Am I risking 2% per trade? Is that what's going on? Oh, that's what's going on. I was gonna say like something's off here. I was gonna say we didn't lose 4 trades in a row. We lost 2, but I'm risking 2% per trade for some reason. I don't know if I set it to that, but anyways, that's all right. Whoops. Break even. Like that one yellow themed guy, he's got like 2.5K members, charges 1K. Yeah, well, I don't want to judge, but I do think I agree with you. Yellow themed guy. Well, I think that you know making a lot of money can do certain things to people and make them behave irrationally. So I think that might be where that comes from, and it's pretty common. I think once you start making good money to kind of get obsessed with it, and get obsessed with making as much money as you can as quickly as you can. And I think that might be what's going on. But yeah, I don't want to judge. Could you send me, please, TM who you oh, yeah, you're talking about Ellis. Well, you guys can type it in chat. I mean, it's not, you're not seeing the chat on the camera, so do whatever you want. When instantly two people typed it out. Well, like I said, guys, like, let's try not to judge, but I'm sure he means well. I don't know. I think money does something to you, and I think, oh, this session is over, by the way. I think money does something to people, and not being able to handle that. All right, this is not the best session, but that's all right. That's part of it too. All right, so we've done a total of 6 sessions right now. The first one was unprofitable. This one was really good with a 44% win rate in 12 trades. Then we had AUD USD, good session. CAD JPY, pretty decent session. And then we had Euro JPY, good session as well. I'm not sure what our overall win rate is at right now. Let's take a look. We're at around 38% right now, I think. Yeah, right. So 38% with around 103 trades. I don't know how to get rid of that. That's annoying, but for some reason it'll take these pairs too, like the ones that I tested in 2024. Let's see. If I set it to just 2015. Apply. All right, there we go. So this is what we got so far. We've got about 100 trades in 2015 with around a 34% win rate. We've only done 6 pairs though so far, so it's not really, it's too early to draw any conclusions, especially because we've done quite a lot of Euro pairs and quite a lot of JPY pairs. Well, 2, but still. So